All right, and we are back. Do
What
you
do you got
think
here, Caleb?
I was gonna ask if you thought Reid or Corey had a faster goldfish.
I think it's got to be Reid, right? Like the Prowess deck really is, if when left unopposed, it really does kill on turn 3 or 4. Almost every game without question. Turn 3 a
Big,
lot, honestly.
big agree. That's been my impression as well. And like Corey's Ragavans might eat some lava darts,
Oh
but
yeah,
Corey also has some disruption, right? And some interaction there with the unholy heats and what.
for sure. Yeah, I mean the thing about Prowess is like if you can kill that first creature, it's definitely not that fast. But when the creatures live and they kind of snowball and get really really big really really fast, it's definitely a dance back and forth. But Corey has a great draw here, obviously.
Yeah, two great openers. Corey on the play, bringing out the Ragavan. Reid electing not to play a one drop, instead choosing to lava dart said Ragavan, of course.
A little interesting to see Corey not play the Mox. Mox would have been on. Obviously, nothing to cast off it immediately, but could have repped a Lightning Bolt or an Unholy Heat or something like that with the Ragavan's legendary status. But Ragavan, not long for this world. Lava Dart. I do love Lava Dart. That's one of my favorite additions to the modern format. I'm just a huge fan of that card.
I'm against it because I lose to it a lot.
I do too. To be fair, it does kill a lot of decks that I like to play, but it's just like a classic old card. Sacrificing your resources for some small marginal gain. It's just sweet.
Yeah, big agree. Corey passing the turn here. Reid untaps. Draws a Mishra's Bauble.
Yeah, I mean, 2 1-drops here. I mean, obviously, like the breach there, if the game doesn't go longer, now there's a bobble also. The preordain is kind of cool. Definitely gonna be interesting to see like what kind of stance is gonna be taken here. Obviously, kind of Reid was forced into taking the defensive stance on turn 1 with the turn Ragavan on the play if you have to kill it. But
Yep.
now Reid gets to unload here, but how far will he go? It's gonna be cool to see.
Yeah, actually a lot of sequencing decisions there, right? Like you could Mishra's Bauble self before deciding if you want to crack the Wooded Foothills or not before you play your second land. Um, Looks like Reid's holding it for the next turn to get 2 prowess triggers instead of just 1.
Going for the big bank up turn. You're gonna try and unload it all at once. And there isn't that much removal in Corey's deck. So, there's the bolts, and it's really not too much else, maybe a heat here or there. But so possibly big damage next turn. It's a fairy looking kind of awkward here too.
Fairy's a little awkward. You can bounce the Soulscar Mage and, kind of fog it for a turn.
Yeah,
Not
Reap
the
also
worst.
play, I suppose.
Um, but then there's a Flame here is the other option. I'm not sure which I would do. We're not seeing a Saga play.
Yeah, 2 life for the land is pretty interesting here. Corey's saying he's not going to have time to activate the saga at this point, so wants to wait maybe 1 ring next turn, kind of just keep buying more time. 13 is, it's a decent amount, but that could go down pretty quickly here.
Another Swift Spear and another Lava Dart. It's
Yeah,
starting to look rough.
good for thankfully for Corey though. Reed's hands a little slower. Some card draw. The breach again. Breach is a card you definitely want to draw later or not earlier. So kind of rotting a little bit right now, but might be relevant in a few turns. And then we gotta see what all these cantrips are going to turn up. Preordain number 1,
How do you feel about Preordain? You like that card?
as in being unbanned in modern now.
Yeah, all that stuff. Do you like casting it? Do you like it being unbanned? How do you feel?
I haven't cast one in a while. I think it's fine, honestly. I think the card quality's got to be modern so high lately that like it seems perfectly reasonable. It's definitely, I think it's like the kind of thing where like if it's facilitating combo decks, it can be a little rough, but in decks like this or more fair decks, it's totally cool. I think it's fine. Happy to see it back.
Cool, cool. Played that card a lot in Standard.
Or Preordain? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like didn't realize how good we had it then. We had these ponders and these Preordain just kind of hanging out and not really, not really thinking about what was going to be in modern.
I actually splashed for Preordain once.
In
And
what
like
deck?
mono white pure steel.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Swift Spear coming in. 3 damage. Yeah, not clearing to Fairy.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense, honestly. Like the
Right.
Teferi is not going to matter for a few more turns, and likely won't matter in this game, probably if things go Reid's way. So
Setting up for the W.
yeah, a lot of cards next turn. Obviously, the Dart in the graveyard, the Preordain, more cards to see, a bunch of triggers. Uh, One Ring will buy some time, but this could also buy time for Reid to set up the Underworld Breach and kind of go that route. I think a Lightning Bolt is pretty high on Reid's wish list right now.
It still has another Preordain and some Prowess triggers to find it.
Let's take a look. Start there. Also, of course, Teferi does not wear the ring, so his vulnerable hero is going to die one way or another for sure, because creatures can't do anything else.
The DRC can't even forget to not attack.
That's right. It's got to go somewhere. Might as well go say hi to Teferi. Yeah, finding a bolt's huge here for Reid, because once you have access to that first bolt, now the Underworld Breach can start bolting over and over and over again, which is a huge part of the next kind of mid to late game win condition. And see what turns up here, though. And there it is. Found it. Preordain's very good at that.
Bye, Teferi.
Gotta make sure Teferi's dead. Get the second creature in there. Really, really make sure. No doubt about it. Double tap. Gone. Also pretty scary for Corey to even tap this ring again. There really is like with 4 creatures in play, can Corey combo from his spot?
Not without the self-mill card, right?
Yeah, he would need Station and a Mox and a lot more
A
things.
lot, yeah.
Yeah, so
A one drop
pretty,
that could be lightning bolted.
yeah, for sure. So looking pretty good for Reid.
Absolutely. I think Corey was really looking for another one ring.
Yeah, that makes sense. Try and make the extra land drop, and the Saga goes off. Maybe you can find mana there, find a Mox, but
Yeah, potentially even favored with one more turn, and another 4 cards or whatever.
yeah, I mean with the breach, I mean Reid has the bolt now too. If there was an end step, well, I guess the ring would go off. I guess so. Can you? There's no way to get through the ring protection with the bolt and the breach. So looking for the ring and not finding it. And some things that should not have been lost.
Oh my god.
What? I love Lord of the Rings. You don't love Lord of the Rings?
I do love Lord of the Rings.
All right. Just checking.
I just felt like shouting, "Nerd!"
That's totally fair. I'll accept it. We used to do. I used to have the Lord of the Rings audiobooks. I used to be driving, Dan Jessup, Andrew Jessup, and Pete Ingram to all the SCGs back in the day, and that was my like late night stay awake. And it was like audiobook with music and sound effects and everything. And they'd be like, "Oh my god, it's a freaking Lord of the Rings again!" It's like 3 a.m. I'm freaking driving in some road in Pennsylvania.
You're driving,
like,
yeah.
Oh, I know, yeah. They're not gonna like say turn it off, but they're just like, oh.
Went on a lot of road trips as a kid, and I loved falling asleep to audiobooks.
Yeah, it's really good.
Corey,
long rides.
Like only 1 mana away here from getting the second ring down, right? Between Ragavan, double Mox.
Yeah, Mox playing a little Lotus Petal roll here, but still a little bit short.
Oh, are we? Can we breach and then use that
Ooh.
to get enough Mox? I don't think we can, right? With only 6 cards in the graveyard.
Yeah, 2 escapes. Breach. Yeah, the breach costing 2 is just too much. I'm curious to see though. I know Corey's a master of his deck. Corey displayed his deck literally for the last like year and a half. Him and Ross Merriam just over and over and over again. But we got the old Dart ski. Don't forget about Dart. Taking out the Ragavan and the mana. That's awesome.
Might have just been seeing what Reid would do there.
When in doubt, cast Lava Dart.
We got Blood Moons coming in on Reid's side. You good against Urza's Saga.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty too, because even just color wise, like turning off the blue, or whatever, is pretty easy. There are a few islands, but like not always easy to fetch the duel. And then yeah, hitting Saga is also huge. This seems like it matchup wise favors Reid pretty well, honestly.
Yeah. We're seeing a lot of hate come in here. Graveyard
Oh,
hate
yeah.
on top of the creature burn spells that are already in there. We got
Yeah,
some spell pierces and what, and Corey's bringing in a whole mishmash of things. Got a
the
single
problem is
fury.
I don't know if Corey's bringing in some pretty good cards, Prismatic Endings and Furies, kinda like things to stay alive, Flame Slash, but I don't know if Corey now he's diluting, his deck a little bit, and, like, between all the hate cards that Reid is bringing in, like, will Corey be able to stabilize enough until Reid can iteration and play hate cards, so on and so forth, and just kind of find the win eventually? And, like, Corey's going down on a ring, but ring's kinda like the planet for killing things, so gonna be an interesting games 2 and 3. The dynamic's definitely going to change a lot.
Yeah, they both decks have a ton more interaction post board.
Yeah, game gonna slow down a ton, and those breaches might matter more on Reid's side for sure.
On both sides, if both players are just like killing each other's things,
Yeah, definitely.
if you get into that sort of game.
Difference is that on Reid's side, we have those Soul Guide Lanterns. Looks like we're gonna be bringing in 2, and then there's no Graveyard Hate on Corey's side, so I would say Corey's breaches are better, but Reid's are gonna be unopposed.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Of course, die roll is pretty big here too, Prowess, just like Burn, a deck that really, really, really wants to go first, and be on the play. And as you saw, I mean, that game, if Corey plays Charm Ragavan, it's almost impossible for Reid to play a 1-drop. Reid kind of just has to kill the Ragavan, which
Yeah.
puts the Prowess deck significantly behind and also on the draw behind too. It wasn't enough that game for Corey to take it down, but it's a major, major distinction. And now Corey has to win at least one game on the draw, which is going to be pretty difficult.
Yep. Not lights out, of course.
Right.
One can always stumble or have a threat light draw. I find those are the draws that I really want to face when I'm playing against Prowess. I really
Yeah,
want them to just like have like 1 or 2 threats, like kill both of them, and then they like spin their wheels for a while.
for sure. That's the kind of weakness of Prowess as opposed to like a deck like Burn, where the Burn deck wants to get a few shots with the creatures that don't matter anymore. The Prowess deck is very reliant on its creatures. If those first few creatures die, they kind of just draw cards and they aren't making that damage output from casting their spells. They're just kind of casting spells.
Or you drop into 6.
That's
I think dropping to 5 looking at
yeah,
this.
that's a pretty ugly 6. Blue sandwich between 2 Urza Sagas. That's a tough
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Reid's hand's looking pretty excellent. Double 1-drop,
Yeah.
interactive spell, card draw spell, perfect mana. A nice one.
No removal on Reid's side, but you're right. We got some velocity, some pressure. 2
Yeah, and
lands, perfect.
we got an
Um,
answer or 2 on Corey's side, but
and I mean, I don't think this is a bad mull to 5. I think
for
what
sure.
Corey is deciding is whether to keep both sagas or not.
That's tough. Keeping both sagas, then the flame is a little hard to cast. Also, might just need the raw cards to get back out of the 5-card hole.
I think if you keep both sagas, you just don't keep the flame. Maybe
That's fair.
like it's just like the plan now. It's like this is my best chance of winning. Looks like
This
that's
saga
what he's jamming.
is quite good. Although it's a little awkward to go saga into saga, obviously, because like you can't use them both to their full potential.
Yeah,
And then
you
I don't know
missed
if there'll be
one,
time to wait.
but then they I mean they're both tutoring more artifacts, they're juicing
True.
each other up still.
True. All right. What's the turn 1 play for Reid here? We have Channeler or Spear. Damage or more looks. Gonna go for damage.
Actually, Respire Bluff's interesting.
Yeah, with the bobble in hand, that is a little odd.
I might overvalue that. The bobble self check.
Even just like saving it for a check next turn, maybe, like there's no like, you can just kind of size it up later. I don't know. Interesting though. Does add a land to the graveyard. Obviously, like that could happen next turn regardless. So Double Channeler is pretty nice here, though. Drawing Shadowsphere for Corey, not super exciting. It's definitely a piece of the puzzle as far as like making a big life linker, but don't really want to draw it. I kind of want to tutor that one up. So being down on 5 cards and then just naturally drawing this kind of like awkward tutor card is certainly not ideal.
Reid getting to bin double Spell Pierce with a Spell Pierce in hand is pretty good for him.
Yeah, that's very, very good. Interesting. Yeah, Reid brought in all 4 spell pierces, and that's kind of a lot. I mean, that is fairly proactive. It's not necessarily always easy to leave mana up, and like a lot of the important cards in Corey's deck are creatures too. Uh, ooh, 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 boy! If you're a Corey Baumeister fan, go watch some TV or something. That was a backbreaking draw for Reid.
Oofta, as we say in the Midwest.
Yeah. And there isn't really even a way out for Corey here. It's you fetch an island, but then cut off of white. Stone, double stone rain. Ooh, yeah. Let's get a 2/2. So obviously there is a 2/2 and is still Shadow Spear here.
I'm sorry, I misheard you. What'd you say?
So it does get a 2/2. So there is still the
2/2. Yeah.
2/2 and the Shadow Spear. I mean, it's sort of a plan, I guess, but I mean, there's enchantment, sorcery, land, so no delirium yet. Just gonna pass up the old golem and just try and gain some life.
I think I would have made every decision that Corey did, except for like I think I might have run out the other Urza Saga last turn. Regardless, I would have gotten equally destroyed this game. Oh man.
I think I would have not drawn the Shadow Spear and drawn a more useful card. That's what I would have done personally, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, it's a tough one. This is a massacre. It's important to note though that Reid is off of blue mana. So the Blood Moon is not, completely one-sided, and there are 2 blue spells in hand. But these channelers are hitting pretty hard. I mean, if Corey could draw an artifact or 2, it's funny how like I think Mox Opal, just like any random artifact is actually like a fine draw here. Get the construct to a 4/4. Yeah, Bobble, just something up.
Bobble could turn on Delirium too.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Also does this Flame Slash.
Yeah, that's not bad.
The fact that Urza's Saga can't even come into play and make a mana before it dies, it can't even Lotus Petal, is so brutal.
For sure. And I mean, get a little Manamorphose here. So Reid does have blue now, or at least next turn.
Pretty relevant here.
All right, we're gonna see a Spell Pierce. So Reid's gonna go for Spell Pierce over Express Iteration for his 1-shot blue off Manamorphose. Gotta keep those threats alive. Although I will say this golem is doing some work. Gaining 3 every turn and attacking for 3 is it's just a free lightning helix, and 11 to 12. Once creatures die, ooh, yeah, as a bolt. All right, never mind. Remember how important I said that golem was? Yeah.
Now, yeah, that's it. That's everything.
Yep, that's the big surveils here too. Tough. For a second there, I was like, all right, maybe like there's actually a little bit of a path here, but gonna knock things out.
Yeah, kill a thing, untap, kill another thing, have your lifelinker hit.
Oh yeah.
Was this just lethal?
3, 6, 9, 10, 9, 10, 11. I think it's with a dart too. Yeah, looks like it is. Good old lava dart.
The card's so messed up in this deck.
Yeah, it really is. Being able to just churn out spell after spell for free is just so awesome. Even, it looks like 1 damage ends up being 5. It's just great. So